In a recent and wrenching development, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, announced that the bodies of 6 hostages held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip had been recovered. Discovered on Saturday in an underground tunnel in the Rafah area, the hostages were identified as Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Hersh Goldberg-Polin, Alexander Lobanov, Almog Sarusi, and Master SGT, Ori Danino. Initial assessments by IDF spokesman Rear ADM Daniel Hagari suggested that the hostages had been brutally murdered by Hamas terrorists shortly before Israeli forces reached them. The confirmation of the death of Hersh Goldberg-Polin, an American citizen, drew a particularly strong reaction from US President Joe Biden, who expressed his devastation and outrage at the news. Meanwhile, the Hostages Families Forum, representing the families of those held captive, demanded that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu address the nation and take responsibility for what they called the abandonment of the hostages. They announced plans for nationwide protests, urging the Israeli public to call for a hostage exchange deal. Adding a layer of sorrow to an already grim situation, the families of the 6 hostages had reportedly been notified of their tragic loss. Israeli President Isaac Herzog expressed the collective grief of the nation, stating that the hearts of all Israelis were shattered by the news. On behalf of the State of Israel, he extended heartfelt condolences and apologized for failing to bring the hostages home safely. President Biden spoke publicly about Hersh Goldberg-Polin, highlighting his bravery during the brutal attack he had endured while attending a peace festival in Israel on the 7th of October. Biden mentioned that Goldberg-Polin had lost an arm while helping friends and strangers during the Hamas massacre, and lamented that the young man had just turned 23 and planned to travel the world. He praised the courage and steadfastness of Goldberg-Polin's parents, whom he had gotten to know. The tragic discovery comes amid ongoing efforts by US, Egyptian, and Qatari mediators to broker a ceasefire deal that would result in the release of the 97 hostages still being held by Hamas, including at least 27 presumed dead, in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Since the Israeli military launched its campaign in Gaza in response to the attack on southern Israel on the 7th of October, more than 40,530 people have been killed in the region, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry.